Hi everybody, this is Toledo. You're listening to Kakatte Koi. Welcome back. I hope you had an amazing New Year's Eve and that 2018 started as you wished, and I hope this will be an awesome year. And I just realized that this is pretty much my vlog where I talk about stuff. I'm not really sure if everybody wants to listen to it, but hey, I like talking, so it's a win-win situation anyway. So today I want to talk about concerts in Japan, because since the first time I have been there, I was amazed at the differences and how everything is organized. And I thought that maybe some of you have never been in Japan and were wondering how it is, so I wanted to share it with you. Well, I think the concerts in different places of the world might be different, but in South America and in Europe, it's pretty similar. You buy a ticket, you go to a line, you try to be as early as possible so you can be in front of the stage, and then you fight your way through to see the band as close as possible. In Japan, there is a great thing that when you buy a ticket, the ticket has a number, and the order that you're gonna get in the venue is based on the ticket number. So it doesn't matter how early you come, it doesn't matter how long you stay in the line. They're gonna call by the number, they're gonna see your ticket, and then they are gonna let you in. So the thing is not to be early at the concert, but to buy the ticket as fast as possible. And for a lot of concerts, the tickets have classifications. It varies a bit because, for example, Gazette does a lot of concerts only for people from the fan club. So then it doesn't have these different classifications because everybody's from the fan club, and some big bands do that. But usually on the smaller bands, what you have is that you have the ticket class A, which are the tickets that are sold for the fan club, and they are the ones that get in first. So not only you have a certain number, you have A and then the number. So you're gonna go in that line in their order based on the fan club classification. And then the B is the people that paid up front. So I'm gonna do another video in some point explaining different ways to get the tickets. This has been explained before by Encore.rocks did a wonderful report about how to buy tickets, but there are other ways besides the traditional way. But this is for another video. But then if you buy the tickets up front and you're not from the fan club, you get a ticket classification named B, and then you are the second group to get in. So then they enter B based on the number. So if you are B14, you're gonna be the 14th person from the second group to get in. And then the last group are the people that didn't buy up front, that are gonna buy at the venue. So it's the C ones. So then you have to wait for everybody to get in, and then you're gonna get in. So or also if you have one of the ways of buying tickets that I'm gonna explain in the other video is band reservation. Although it's great, you don't have to pay up front, but you get in the third group. So you get in after fan club and after people that paid up front. Okay? And then of course the people that get in first and end up getting in front of the stage, but that doesn't mean that you won't be able to be very close to the stage. It varies a lot from venue to venue. One thing that I wanted to comment is there are two kinds of concerts in Japan, and these exist, I think, only there. At least I have never seen it in other places. So the bigger bands are always gonna play by themselves, and that's obvious, but with the smaller bands you have when they do one-man show, which means it's only them, and then it's a longer show. They're gonna play for an hour and a half, 2 hours, as long as they want. And this classification is for this band. So that this classification works for one-man concerts. But in Japan, it's very common that you have concerts that are group concerts. So you have 5 to 7 bands playing in the same time. They are all gonna play for about half an hour, and then you don't have this classification. People get in, and you go in, you buy your ticket. If you have it up front, great, but you go in. When you go to give your ticket at the counter, they're gonna ask you which band did you come to see, because the bands get paid and they know who came based on who came to see which band. And usually the last band of the day is the band that actually organized this show. And this is very interesting because it allows you to go to a concert. Maybe you know one of the bands, but you can go there and get to know quite a lot of new bands that are playing and get new merchandise, maybe find your new favorite band. That's how I found most of my favorite smaller bands. And in these smaller concerts, when you have like 6-7 bands playing together, it's very interesting to see the dynamic. I explain. When you go see one band, of course, everybody's fan from this band. But the fans, they have a favorite. They have one person on the band that is their favorite member. So they position themselves in front of this member. And then it's a competition to see who can be further front and call the attention of that favorite musician more. And it is really a competition. But when you have smaller bands, you have different fans going for different bands. So you have usually the first line are the fans from this band. And they actually organize themselves in a way that they know who is their favorite member and who is their favorite band, and they position themselves there. And then the rest of the people go on the other lines. When that band stops playing, this line goes back, and then comes a new line of other people that are friends from there. They really organize themselves in a way that people go in and like they alternate in front all the time. And they have a very good agreement or who is supposed to be in front and who is your favorite member. And if you start going to a concert of a band, like for example, in my case, I started going to all Grimm's concerts, as many as I could. And in the beginning, I was not part of the group, so I would go to the concerts. I would be in the middle, second, third line. I didn't care. And I would go to the concert and have fun. After a few concerts, the people from the first line started coming to talk to me and ask who was my favorite member, where did I want to, and start putting me in this front line. Because then they realize, oh, you are a fan of this band. You are always with this. You always come to see. You know the people from the band. It's okay. So they started positioning me in the first line, which is extremely interesting. I have never asked. I was never interested in that. I never said, oh, I'm part of the fan club now. Please, no. They naturally allowed me to get in, and the fans talked to each other. A lot of time people would come and ask, oh, which is your favorite band? Who did you come to see? Oh, cool, I like this member too. It's very nice. It creates a community where the fans share the same interest in that band, so that is already a base for a friendship. So they know you like something that they also like. It's fairly easy to jump from there and to like other stuff. So to discuss other things. It's a subject in common that allows you to do. And I think that's a very Japanese thing, that people can organize themselves in a way that all the bands seem loved all the time, and there is no real fight between fans. I thought that was brilliant. Well, if you also have never been to a concert in Japan, you're gonna be very surprised the first time you go. But probably you saw in videos and from other bands. The Visual Kei is very, very special because the fans have choreography. So there are certain movements to certain parts of the songs that everybody will do together, and you get to learn. Like nowadays, when I listen to a song, by the way the song is played, I can already say what is the movement that is supposed to be done to that part, because it's always connected with the rhythm and with the way things are played. But it's very nice to see everybody dancing. And then actually have a very funny story that when I started going to the concerts in Japan, of course, I didn't know the choreography. I have never been like in other countries. We don't do that. We headbang, we dance, we jump, but we don't coordinate with everybody to do the same unless the singer is doing a movement and we copy the singer. But it's not something that we know that we are supposed to do that choreography for every song. So in the beginning I would be there and I wouldn't know what to do. So I would never go in the middle of the audience. I would always be in the back, kind of shy, thinking, I don't know what to do. And I started noticing that the singer of the band would notice some foreigners in the, because not all, sometimes it was just me, but a lot of times there were other foreigners also lost in the middle of the audience. And the singer would actually start telling us in advance what we were supposed to do. So he would point to the head when it was a headbang, or do the hand movement, it was a hand movement. And it was so sweet. Like, I don't know how to, it's a very sweet feeling, because it's a feeling that the band also wants to have you included in this, like that is this community that even if you're new to it, you're still part of it. So it's a very warm feeling, and it's very nice. And then of course eventually you learn all the movements and you start doing everything with everybody, or at least you learn how to copy the others fast enough that people don't notice that you didn't know. The extreme of that is that I had actually a band translating everything, that the singer was translating everything that he was saying in English and saying, now we're gonna run to this side, you run to this side, okay? And although I could understand everything that he was saying in Japanese, he actually took the effort to say it in English as well, to make sure that the foreigners were also understanding everything that he was saying. So this is the kind of extra that the Japanese offer to you. Like, they are kind, they are sweet, they really want to include you in that. And one more thing about concerts in Japan. Usually the concerts, they start very early. The concerts in Japan usually start 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. When they start really late, they start 6 p.m. They are really early in the afternoon in comparison to us, that we start the show at 8, 9, 10 p.m. No, they start there between 4 and 6 in general. Varies depending on how many bands are gonna play. And usually they are over around 9. So I have seen concerts getting, like, finishing at 10, but that was the latest I have ever seen. Usually they start 4 or 5 and they end around 9-ish. So, and if it is only one band, usually they start at 6 and they finish at 8, or like it's a fairly early time. And the reason they do that is because there are a lot of very young people in the audience, and they have to go to school the next day, and there are concerts every day in Japan. You can go to a concert from Monday to Monday without any problem. So they make sure that you are on a timing that you can still go back home and go to sleep, and the other day wake up properly. So that's also very, very different from what we have. Usually we have concerts mostly on weekends and when there are big bands, and they are usually very late. Even if they are during the week, they are still quite late in comparison to Japan. Oh, the other reason why the concerts don't end very late is that people have to take the train, the subway. They imagine that people are coming from quite far, so they have to have a proper time that they can get a train home. And depending on where you live, you're not gonna have, they don't want people to arrive at their home at midnight, at 1 a.m. So they do it in a time that you can be home in a suitable time, or at least not too late. So it's also for respect for the audience, which is super cool in comparison to like other places. But I think in Japan the system is really good. I would love to have a concert in Europe where you actually don't have to stay in the line, in the cold, in the rain for 2 hours, and then be sitting like so far that you can, like being so far that you cannot see anything, or even being so that you're sweaty. I hate that. So to finish this, just to say, the other thing is that, of course, if a concert in Japan is very, very full, people are gonna be very close to each other. But as a tradition, people respect each other's space very much. So even in even in big concerts in Gazette or Vamps, Lado Conchelo, like Medjibrai, very big concert where there are a lot of people, and we are all very close to each other, you have a different feeling from people pushing and squeezing. Like, it's a different feeling. Of course, there are some pushing that happens. That's normal. It's a rock concert, and people are excited, and accidents happen. But you still have this feeling that people are more respectful with each other's space than in other countries. So that's also very nice. I hope this is interesting for you guys, and I know I can blab a lot. Before I go, I wanted to say thank you for all the groups supporting, and let's make Visual Kei really big and strong and popular again. I hope to be bringing to you interview with the European Visual Kei bands that I'm gonna be seeing the end of this month in Germany. And remember, we have we have the promotion that you can get Verzel's last CD by following us, liking us on Facebook, share. So I hope you win. Love you.